And welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Idea PC, and I'm joined today by Rude Dude for our Upsurge Minor Leagues playoff matchup here in the lower bracket. We do have Omega Gaming Ice up against Ignitus here today. Omega Gaming Ice last week, they were able to 2-0 sweep Wolfpack Exiles. They're in their first playoff match. So here we are in the next round. And, it's going to be interesting to see if they can kind of keep this run going, Rude Dude.
Yeah, of course. They took a swift 2-0 last week, looking to really assert themselves as one of these top teams in the lower bracket right now. And I did a little bit of research just before coming into this game and had a look at to see how these guys were doing relative to the rest of the teams in their division. And so far, the two teams that came out of the Ocean League, which was the league that Ice competed in before the playoff scenarios came, are both still in the upper bracket and haven't yet dropped a game. So it really speaks volumes about the quality of this team. The fact that the only two teams that came out ahead of them are still unbeaten in the top end of the bracket here.
Absolutely doing well for themselves as always. But starting up in the pro draft here, we do have Ignitus picking up the Ezreal here. Has been quite a priority pick for quite a while now in the meta. The Varus Ezreal and Aphelios have been extremely common. So I'm not too surprised to see Aphelios getting banned away by Omega Gaming Ice, considering they didn't have first pick. But they will go ahead and pick up the Thresh and the Graves here as the support and jungle options here. Graves, obviously a great early game jungler, has some amazing clear speed, and if you can get ahead early, it can be pretty much a GG.
Yeah, it really can. Graves are great at snowballing, and with this pick composition that they appear to be drafting with the Thresh here, going to be able to, if they can sync up here, be able to do work trying to snowball this Graves. And just something else quickly to point out that today Ice are playing with a substitute support. We've got Banjito here instead of Casey on the usual support for Ice, just due to some internet issues around Chicago. So normally we would have had to, this would be a sort of forfeit scenario because it is an e-sub, but for this game, given the circumstances that are going on with the internet issues, they've let it slide, and we're still going into this series 0-0, best of three, of course, and we'll be looking to see if Banjito can make an impact here on the support role with this Thresh coming out for game number one.
Absolutely, and you do often see Cassian picking up things like the Nautilus. So that kind of hook type champion that they usually do end up drafting for themselves. Obviously, we're seeing that here with the Thresh pick. So Omega Gaming Eyes kind of revolving around the same idea where they do want the support to be able to start off some of these engages and some of these fights. They will pair it up with the Varus here. So there's a lot of CC that's going to be coming out of this Omega Gaming Eyes bottom lane. Obviously, with the Chain of Corruptions, the Thresh Death Sentence, and things of that nature, can really kind of lock down, things like the Ezreal, the Braum. Now, picking the Ezreal and the Braum, though, is a relatively safe lane overall. Braum, obviously, he can put up the Unbreakable to block those piercing arrow shots from the Varus. And, the Stand Behind Me and just some of the other abilities, right? The Arcane Shift really do allow a lot of mobility from this Ignited spot lane to be able to avoid some of that engage from Omega Gaming Eyes.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I just want to quickly touch on a little bit more about this Varus pick, because since 10-14 has come through, we've seen Varus kind of drop by the wayside quite significantly. And whilst Ezreal and Ashe have still maintained their, and Aphelios rather, have maintained their top tier status, as I alluded to there, that Ashe has really filled in that role as that third top tier AD carry of sort of filling the same sort of role as Varus, has that ultimate to engage, to set up team fights, but now is Ashe with the Blade of the Ruin King, Runan's build sort of filling that role, and Varus dropped in a little bit in priority, and seeing it picked up by us, we'll have to see whether or not it's dropped in priority was worth it or not. Obviously, Waffle Wheel, a Varus aficionado, we've seen it numerous times here on the stream, but we have got a Ori Victor matchup here in the mid lane.
Yep, both of these mid laners for both teams here, Shmurda B and Aethys, both looking to scale up for the late game here. Obviously, when you draft that Ezreal, you have some great scaling out of him as well. So, overall, Ignitus looking for kind of a scaling composition here as well with the Kindred, and they're going to draft themselves some hard engage here in the Wukong. Obviously, you can go in and proc his knockup twice. So a lot of engage potential there with the Wukong being able to come in looking for the flank. So I'm going to be expecting this Kindred to be playing towards the top side of the map. And it'd be nice to see Omega Gaming Ice pick up something relatively safe here. Maybe the Ornn. The Jax gets hovered. That's not very That's definitely not expected if this is going to be locked in. I might be getting baited here, but we might actually see this getting picked up by Koros. Yes, and it is locked in.
That's definitely an interesting pickup in the top side, as you mentioned. Not something that we typically see, but you can see the theory behind it, how it wants to play against this Wukong. And if you think about Wukong as a champion, the only real damage early on, at least, that it does do is with the auto attacks. The Nimbus Strike, his E ability has been dropped off a little bit and now has become the secondary ability that you want to be maxing. So the damage from that really is very significant, or very insignificant rather, in these early kerfuffles, early skirmishes that are going to go on the top side. So really, if you're able to use that counter strike, you'll be able to use that counter strike effectively, dodge out on the crushing blow from Wukong, these empowered auto attacks, and all of the damage from himself, just to really mitigate that trading on the top side. Could definitely go in the way of Jax here.
Absolutely, and it's really going to kind of fall down onto Omega Gaming Ice to have some success in the early game. Obviously, with the Graves pick here, you want this Jack to be able to get themselves, the Jax to be able to get himself in a position where he can kind of snowball on early. So overall, it's going to be interesting to see exactly how this game does kind of pan out. But ladies and gentlemen, with all that being said, we're going to be moving ourselves on over into a short intermission as we get ourselves ready to bring you out onto Summoner's Rift. Again, I'm the Idea PC, joined by Rude Dude for this Upsurge Minor League playoffs cast. So, ladies and gentlemen, do not go anywhere. Do not change that browser, and we will see you right after the break.
Welcome to the wild, no heroes and villains. Welcome to the war, we've only begun. So pick up your weapon and face it. There's blood on the ground, go and take it. You get one shot to make it out alive. So higher and higher you chase it. It's deep in your bones, go and take it. This is your moment. Now is your time, so prove cover your wounds, but underneath them, a million voices in your head that whisper, stop now. Another twist of the knife, a turn of the screws, it's all in your mind, and it's fighting you on yourself. The storm is coming. Wow, kid, what you gonna do now? It's your reflection looking back to pull you down. So are you gonna die today or make it out alive? You gotta conquer the monster in your head, and then you'll fly, fly, Phoenix fly. It's time for a new empire. Go bury your demons, then tear down the ceiling, Phoenix fly. And now you're playing with matches, come out of the ashes underneath you. A million voices in the crowd, they're screaming, stop now. Well, let them swallow the pride, you're turning the tides, it's true believers. Got them in the palm of your hand, you're playing God now. What you gonna do now? It's your reflection looking back to pull you down. So are you gonna die today or make it out alive? You gotta conquer the monster in your head, and then you'll fly, fly, Phoenix fly. It's time for a new empire. Go bury your demons, then tear down the ceiling, Phoenix fly. So are you gonna die today or make it out alive? You gotta conquer the monster in your head, and then you'll fly, fly, Phoenix fly. It's time for a new empire. Go bury your demons, then tear down the ceiling, Phoenix fly. As a child, you would play and watch from far away, but you always knew that you'd be the one that would while they all play. And you'd lay awake at night and scheme of all the things that you would change, but it was just a dream.
Lost spirits beckoning to
Welcome everybody to the Upsurge Minor League Playoff Series matchup between Ignitus and Omega Gaming Esports. Ladies and gentlemen, Omega Gaming Eyes had their time in the group stages, getting themselves that third seed. Now they're here in the playoffs, doing a great job in week one, being able to 2-0 their opponents, now making it here into week two of the playoffs here. Very exciting matchup that we've got for us here today. And, everyone out there on Summoner's Rift going to line themselves up on the line of scrimmage. Nothing too crazy going on. But Rude Dude, welcome to the cast.
Thank you, and we're already seeing this dominant, or what I expect to be a dominant top lane matchup for Koros in action. They're just, even the level 1 trade with the Counter-Strike, Shinnamin really getting on the rough end of those trades with Koros on the top side, and I want to talk quickly that Chorus has really been a standout member for this Ice squad. You know, time and again, we've seen him perform on the top lane matchups. Doesn't really seem to matter what scenario he gets put in. He always somehow comes out with a winning lane. And just props to him. And now that he's been given this potential lane counter here and the ability to really go off and carry in a late game scenario, want to see if he can really put that advantage to it and see if he can really be the hard carry here for Ice in this particular game.
Absolutely, the pushing potential of the Jacks, always a very strong force to be reckoned with in solo queue, and you know, we're gonna get to see it here in play in competitive. So it'll be interesting to see exactly how that one is going to work out for us today. But Graves starting up on the top side of his jungle, going to pick up the red buff there. Probably move his way down on over, trying to get a little bit of counter jungling going on here. Trying to face off against this Kindred here early.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to meet. Looks like they might meet at this blue buff here. The blue buff has started up by Supermark, and Peanut about to walk into him.
You're going to see it right now. Damage is going to be going down here. Peanut in a little bit of trouble, having to smite the buff there and force the flash out now. Could be in some trouble. Jax is here on the rotation, has it coming through, able to get the Ignite for more damage, and first blood going on over to Shmurda as he's able to pick that one up off the back of his jungler. Good coordination here from the side of Omega Gaming Ice here, and very, very good to see that here early on. This is exactly the kind of start that Supermark was hoping to get.
Yeah, exactly. He went for that invade on the top side blue here, and there's going to be a little trade there on the top side. And with the priority that Shmurda was able to acquire in this early lane versus the Victor, obviously Victor not the strongest laner until he's got that Hex Core upgrade. Shmurda was able to push him in and able to rotate. Shmurda did burn both summoners, but does net himself a red buff and an extra 400 gold to boot. So worth overall. We'll have to see whether or not Peanut and Aethys here can take advantage of this flashless Orianna in the mid lane. And already we see pings coming down from the bot side actually of Omega Gaming Ice to say we have priority down bot lane if Supermark wants to come and do this crab. But as the Mark spawns on the top side for the Kindred, it looks like Supermark's just going to walk in and deny that. And Peanut is going to lose the RNG Scuttle Crab fight that you always know and see as a Kindred player, that whichever Scuttle Crab you get, if you get the Mark, you get off to a nice little start, and unfortunately in this game in particular he's not going to get, looks like either of the crabs as mid has collapsed as well.
Yeah, this is actually quite unfortunate here for the Kindred. She does excel, you know, being able to get some of that early lead and that early advantage. Force flash out here from Shinneman up in the top lane. Good pressure coming out from this Omega Gaming Ice top laner here. Koro's doing work here on the Jax. Has a freeze even that he could set up for himself on the top side of the map. Shinneman going to go ahead and TP up here, but now there it is. The hook going to come in and land a nice flay onto two here. They could be in some trouble now. Shinkai burning down with the Ignite. The piercing arrow will not land, but it won't matter. Supermark picking up the kill. Vegeta, though, in a little bit of danger here. Flay going to be able to get himself the distance. Supermark going right on in. Flash forward from Waffle Wheel will pick himself up the kill, and that's 2-for-0 in the bottom lane.
Yeah, really well played gank. Banjito setting up that play perfectly. Hits the death sentence on Shinkai, and that is all that they needed to pull the trigger, get all four summoners down on the bot side. Obviously, Ezreal burning the TP to get back to lane after that awkward fight, and overall, really nice play from Ice. Starting themselves off getting a nice 1,500 gold lead right now. And nice, actually, I want to just quickly touch on that play. Really good from Supermark that he walks in and helps his bot lane push that wave all the way under the turret. They don't want to leave any possibility of Ignitus here, setting a freeze against Waffle Wheel and Banjito. They walk in, clear the wave, push it all the way under the turret, and enable a reset to come through for this Varus Thresh bot lane. And already we see here a quick Berserker Greaves rush from Waffle Wheel, which is something that you don't often see, but going to get himself to that lane a little bit quicker. And now he's just going to be able to itemize into those two big core items that an on-hit Varus is going to want to go for, being the Blade of the Ruin King and the Rage Blade. Not going to have to stop along the way for anything else now, so all the gold he accumulates will be going towards those big ticket items.
It absolutely will be indeed, and Koro's here, going to spot out Peanut on the Krug. Supermark trying to start up the dragon there on the bottom side of the map, but the Ignitus bot lane will be able to sniff that one out here. I don't know if they'll be able to contest here. They do not have a numbers advantage yet. Victor's still pushing out the wave, and Kindred is top. So this might just be Dragon going on over to the side of Omega Gaming Ice. They have priority in the lanes. Victor is recalling. And top lane, obviously, neither of them do not have their teleport. So easy dragon getting picked up here for the side of Omega Gaming Ice. They have the pressure. They're doing everything right. And this is exactly the kind of stuff you want to see. Shinneman, though, having to kind of play a little smarter here up towards the top side. Does not want to get rooted up and stunned down there. Koros, though, going to go in. Big damage to the flash forward. Able to pick himself up to kill Koros. This guy, I mean, we just see it time and time and time again. Rude dude. Koros just having so much pressure in the 1v1 top side.
No, he really does, and that was just a perfect utilization of the level 6 tick coming through, and it looked as though when he jumped on in, got that W auto, he wasn't going to be able to find the final killing blow, but the third auto attack from that Jax passive, off of the ultimate rather than the passive itself, the third auto attack being an empowered strike, was able to take down Shinnemin, and taking advantage of that flash that Koros burned earlier, gets himself the solo kill and really extends the lead that he has. No TP on Shinnemin right now means he has to walk all the way up to top lane, and look at the CS differential already in that top side of the map. Almost doubled from Koros. He's got just little under double the CS and working his way towards that Blade of the Ruin King. Super strong item on these melee bruisers. He's only going to get stronger as this game goes on, and you have to feel for Shinnemin here. He really has to start, well, really needs some help from Peanut. But since Peanut got first blooded, he's been on a farming tear, just trying to keep himself back in this game. So there's no help coming to these laners anytime soon, and we touched on it a little bit earlier. Shmurda B has his flash, has his ghost back up, so nothing was able to be acquired from that expenditure early on. And bot lane of Ice has rotated up towards this top side. You see it time and again, 7.5 minute mark. Get your bot lane to recall. Koros off that solo kill, bases and goes top lane. Then we're going to be in a great spot for Supermark and the rest of Ice to take this Rift Herald on the top side.
Absolutely. It's just really, really clean macro play here coming from the side of Omega Gaming Ice, coupled with the great micro performance from Koros up here in the top lane as well. They will be able to set themselves up with vision control here for Rift Herald at 8 minutes. Supermark already having made his way up towards the top side. The sweeper's coming out, and that is one very dark jungle here for Ignitus. Not going to really be able to get too much going here. Priority in mid and top means that they have the ability to take this one or turn and take the fight. And I just don't think that Peanut's even going to be able to contest this. I mean, they've got 4 members on Herald here. The rest of Ignitus is just now able to come in and respond. But with that being said, it actually might have come on in here. Braum passive stacking up onto Banjito, but he's going to remain here healthy. They're going for the 50-50. Nice Oriana Shockwave, though. The smite coming on through. Supermark will be able to nab that one up. Lamb's respite, gonna get called out here. Peanut trying to stay alive, but the health bar just way too low. We'll have to flash out. Flash forward from Shmurda B, though, trying to look for the kill. Misses the ball, but it doesn't matter. Supermark there with the bang bang. 1-2 right in the face and able to take down Peanut along with it.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That's 3 kills going the way of Ice right now, and just a quick apology that the graphic has now been updated. Ice were on the red side this entire time, not in Ignitus Esports. That's on me, but really nicely played team fight up on the top side from Ice. They get themselves 3 kills, get themselves the Herald as well, and really just flawless gameplay. 4,000 gold almost here before 10 minutes. This is a really substantial lead that they've got for themselves in this early game. And we look at the comp, and their comp isn't an early game focused comp, right? They've got Graves, who does really well in the early game, but you look at Oriana, Varus, and the Jax, they all scale super well into the late game, and you have to feel like the more and more that this game goes on, the happier and happier Ice are going to be with the champions they've drafted and the advantage they've got early on. They're going to be feeling really strong going into this mid and late game.
They absolutely will be. I mean, they have the ability to really get something going here, but the passive procs are going to stack up here on Shmurda B. Flash coming out, that's going to be a stun up, and Mystic Shot will land. Shutdown going on over to Shin Cal here on the Ezreal, able to get Shmurda B picked off there. No Shockwave available for him to disengage with, and Phase Rush just not quite enough to do it.
Yeah, not when he ends up having to walk all the way back around and sort of do a really, really weird loop-de-loop of who's in the wrong side of the lane right there, as Shmurda B ends up walking back toward the enemy tier 1 turret, but nice little pick up there for them. Shinkal does have to burn the flash to ensure the stun and ensure the kill for himself, but overall they're going to be happy with that shutdown. A little bit of gold back in the pockets, but overall won't really slow down this onslaught that Ice are going to be putting down. And weird sort of lane assignments right now as Waffle Wheel and Banjito return to this bot side, and Shinkal not yet managing to get his way down there, so Koros, if he's able to find an opportunity here, there's a world where Koros can dive. He has the Ninja Tabby to tank up the turret, and here we go. Oof.
Damage is pretty disgusting, honestly. Koros here sitting fairly strong with the tabbies, the Vampiric Scepter, and a couple daggers there for his time. Death Sentence going to land onto the clone there. We'll just be able to back up there, no problem, no questions asked, but they have the lane priority. They'll be looking to pick themselves up this Mountain Dragon as it spawns here. Peanut still on the top side of the map. Will not be able to rotate in time for this Drake. Should be another easy pickup here for Omega Gaming Ice, which is pretty much just dominated this early game by far and large. No questions asked. I mean, they sit here now at the 4K gold lead at 11.5 minutes. This is absolutely huge for them. And you know, it's just really difficult right now. You have to hand it to the side of Omega Gaming Ice on how well they've been able to play around this Graves that needs to be able to get that advantage. Kindred, who is generally considered to scale better than the Graves, currently sitting with 0 stacks, which is not a good place to be on Kindred at almost 12 minutes in the game. And she's definitely had one heck of a time in the jungle.
Yeah, definitely been set back. Quite a difficult deficit to overcome is what I wanted to say. But she has got herself the warrior enchant now. Probably the biggest spike that a Kindred does go for in the early game is obviously completing the final jungle enchantment. Obviously Supermark has been sat there for a little bit now, so finally just catching up, and it looks like Wafflewill and Banjio are just going to be able to take this first turret of the game before the plates go down as well, so that's a lot of turret gold going their way.
I mean, we toggle the gold here, Broody. You can see it now. Varus now 1k in gold above his lane opponent. Will be pretty strong. We'll be feeling pretty good about that one. And Fight Little here is going to get caught out in the rotation. Brahms just going to go down there. Wafflewill picking himself up the kill. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Able to really pretty much take these fights uncontested just with the amount of pressure they have. Shockwave coming out from Orianna. She could be in some trouble here. The damage is going to come through.
No, Ewin. That was a really weird play there from Wizard of Diablo right there. Koros.
Shinkai, they're having to be a little careful. That Mystic Shot does hurt, though. Chorus has to be careful, dude.
Yeah, he does. Can't be stepping too far forward, especially on this HP. Probably just going to take the base and get himself some nice upgraded items, because he's been sat on this Vamp Scepter for a while now, and Hook goes wide, but actually stays in the lane, and Shinkai probably has Arcane Shift back up, so probably isn't feeling too much threat at the moment. Obviously, Chorus really wants to spend his gold, get back, going to shove the wave on in, and likely look for a reset here. And all of the members resetting from Ice here. Maybe they're going to look to make a play together. There's nothing particularly on the map for them. 3 minutes on the Drake. Rift Herald not going to be up for a few moments as well, so maybe they're going to look for this top side as well. Schmerda B actually down in the bot lane, which isn't where I'd expect him to be. He doesn't have the teleport, and if they do end up fighting over this Rift Herald that is spawning within the minute, we're going to have to wait and see whether or not Schmerda B manages to rotate his way up, or if Ice is just feeling confident enough to take the 4 versus 5 here.
Yeah, it looks like Koros headed down now towards the bottom side of the map there with his teleport being up. Again, just, you know, you really do have to hand it here to Omega Gaming Ice. They're just making the proper macro decisions, right? And it seems so simple, right, for us to sit here as observers and say, oh, well, this team should do this at this time for this reason. But the reality is, when you're in game, a lot of that can get kind of lost with the hecticness, if that's even a word, of the match. Nice prediction, though, onto the hook there. Will force out the flash here from Shinneman. And Koros here finding himself on top of an Ezreal, exactly where he does not want to be. Koros going to pick himself up a kill there. Good play, good proactivity here, but Schmerda going to find himself stepping a little too far forward. Now the flash and flash return here from Peanut, finding the last hit there. Will pick himself up the kill. That is what this Kindred needs. If I'm checking here, she unfortunately did not have the Orianna stacked, so it will not be a stack in her favor, but that is a kill there, being able to neutralize the game state here with 4 members on 4 members, with 2 of them having gray screens right now. But with Kindred showing bot side, it's going to be a very easy take of the Rift Herald here, another neutral objective, but Kindred got a first mark, rude dude.
Hey, the Scuttle Crab goes down. That's a little bit of extra range, a little bit of extra damage coming the way of Peanut, so, you know, you'll take your advantage where you can get them. But Koros on the bot side, well, he's just going to walk away. Shinneman uses the clone, and that is going to be all that she wrote for this particular engagement. But look at the level discrepancies in this top lane. Shinneman level 9, Koros level 11 right now. If there's a world where Jax is going to be able to solo carry and solo split push effectively, it's this one right now, idea. He's so strong with the Blade of the Ruin King completed as well. Look at the pressure that he's absorbed, you know, sending Ice are drawing 3 members down to this bot side here, Ezreal, Braum, as well as the Wukong, who should be laning there, all just to make sure that Chorus doesn't get a solo kill.
Yeah, you really do have to hand it here. Obviously, the Jax with with the Blade of the Rune King now, his dueling power and potential is it's not as good as it's going to be, but it's definitely at a great spot when you consider that we're only 16 minutes into this game. That means that you do have to send 2 people at least minimum to answer this Jax up in the top side, because you just do not win those fights. Banjito, though, going to get caught out trying to ward up here into the pit, will be forced to flash out. True Shot Barrage going to find a swing and a miss there. We're going to go up and over the wall there, looking for the steal possibly. But Graves opting to go back towards the middle side of the map. They're going to put down the Rift Herald here and try and force the rest of Ignitus Esports to answer them mid here. They will pick themselves up the Dragon, so this is good for them, but they should be able to zone the rest of Ignitus off this one. This is the mid tier 1 going down, and Jax this entire time has been split pushing top. So, he should be able to push out another wave or 2 here, as the rest of Ignitus will go ahead and respond to them. But a lot gained here for the side of Omega Gaming Esports, despite the Dragon going on over. So, it really is kind of a battle of mentality of, well, we took a lot of gold on the map, we took a lot of space on the map now for us, and, maybe it cost us 1 Ocean Dragon. I think that is a concession that OGI is more than willing to take.
Yeah, exactly. And it is nice for Ignitus here just to delay that potential soul point coming through for Ice. They get themselves the extra Drake, buys themselves another 5 minutes in the game where Ice don't have the Ocean Soul, which really would make this game pretty unwinnable for the Ignitus guys. An Ocean Soul on top of Jax, who's got Conqueror, on top of Varus with Blade of the Ruin King, and Graves with the armor as well. They're gonna need they'll be really happy that they've managed to stall out that fact, but they do obviously lose the 2 turrets in exchange. So we'll have to wait and see whether or not that gold injection for Omega Gaming Ice is what is going to be able to tick them over into a position where they can sort of break the base, break some turrets. They've already broken the outer tier of turrets now. Looking at these tier 2 turrets in all of the lanes, essentially, it's really going to be on Koros here to try and find the turret damage, because I don't feel like anybody else can particularly step up to the turrets. Obviously, Victor has really nice wave clear in the mid lane, but with Koros probably going to be able to walk up and hit Shinnemin under the turret if he wanted to, and that's why you see Peanut here shadowing him.
Yep, gonna go for a little bit of poke damage here. Banjito waiting off in the wings here. We'll be able to stun up Shinnemin here. Damage gonna come through. Thresh though now, dangerous here with the Flay. Just gonna find himself onto a monkey clone there. Backing up off and away. But overall, I mean, right now there's no real major objectives here to fight for. Picks are picks if you can find them, but they will not net you any major advantages unless you're able to actually push down that lane and get turrets. So right now, with the lead and the advantage that Omega Gaming Ice has gotten themselves in this early game, will be enough for them to kind of just keep themselves coasting until the Baron, which is spawning up here in about a minute. You see there, Banjito and Waffle Wheel pinging it. I think this is a game where you could, in fact, do a 20-minute Baron just with how far ahead you have your AD carry and this top lane Jax here. They have the itemization to be able to keep themselves relatively healthy as well. So it should be interesting to see if that is the option that they're going to go for here, and attempting just to get that more of that lane priority. See Jax down towards the bottom side of the map. But take a quick toggle at the gold. Orianna has a back that she could go for as well here. So I expect some of these to come through before we see any major fighting. We're neutral.
Yeah, exactly. Big ticket item for Schmurderby, probably going to be the large rod, and then we'll see whether or not he tries to alter that into a Spellbinder or a Rabadon's Death Cap. Both of the things have become very meta in this new Orianna build, where they sort of just go tier, and then just once they've worried about their mana problems, they'll just go raw AP. And there's potential for Eliandries or Morellonomicon to come through second here, but with the amount of snowballing that Ice have been able to accomplish early on, I'd expect to just see some raw AP coming through from him and maybe try to just snowball out of control. And this is that Baron that you were talking about here, Idea. We've got Waffle Wheel now, 2 completed items. He's going to start it up with complete darkness on the side of Ignitus. Just toggled the vision for the guys at home. And with that blue ward coming through, they see the Baron at half HP.
Yep, coming on through here now. Koros has his teleport available. Orianna with the ball there, able to get some good zoning off. There it is. Shockwave going to come out, but it's not going to find its way on anybody now. Koros coming into the fight here. Lands her spike, going to get the health. Thars back up here, but Koros finds itself onto the back line here. Shinkai in a little bit of trouble. One more auto will do it. That's the kill going right on over. Banjito finding a hook onto the Brum here. gonna go golden to try and save his life. Koros, though, waiting on the outside, will be able to find the jump onto Shinneman, finding himself in between three now. Could be a little bit dangerous here. He can get kited out and knocked down here. It will happen. Supermark, though, able to find something, but not enough. Waffle Wheel now, the last defender in the pit. Shmurda B having to run back here, and I don't know how that fight went so badly for Omega Gaming Ice. But after the Lambs respite, the health bars getting kind of sent back up here for the side of Ignitus Esports. They're able to win themselves a fight and deny the Baron here from Omega Gaming Ice.
Yeah, they get a 4 for 3, and as you mentioned, all importantly, deny that Baron. And, you know, that fight really felt kind of awkward for Ice because, as we were talking about earlier, Shmurda B still hasn't recalled, doesn't have those items yet. He's still sat on just the Tear of the Goddess upgrade, you know, Seraph's Embrace, not the most damaging item. And the Lamb's Respite actually baited out so many cooldowns. They tried to use all of their cooldowns. The Shockwave was used in Lamb's Respite to try and pull the Kindred out of the ultimate to try and get the kill and make the Baron even easier. But let's just talk... Oh, I don't think we've got the time, but Aethys basically on this victory is super strong.
Yeah, and you know, with that Baron control that they just kind of got for themselves in that one team fight, that's going to give them this Ocean Dragon now, making it 2 for their team overall. 2 is better than 1, Rude Dude, and they're able to kind of slowly stack up some of that passive healing. So very, very good here from the side of Ignitus Esports, able to use that earlier advantage that they got for themselves to net themselves their second dragon of the game, now bringing it to a score of 2 drakes to 2. And, you know, if I'm being honest, I do prefer the 2 Ocean Dragons here as opposed to the Singular Mountain and Singular Cloud that Omega Gaming Ice was able to pick up with their dominating early game pressure. But yeah, I mean, you know, to kind of touch back on that Baron fight, you know, you made the point, right, that Shmurda B had not gone back just quite yet. And I think that if he, you know, is able to pick up some of that extra 40 or, you know, maybe 60 AP if he picks up something like an Amplifying Tome on the back of it as well, it does go his way. But now Baron going to get started back up here for Omega Gaming Ice. They just have the raw power just to be able to start this at their own whim. Glacial Fissure and True Shot Barrage going to find its way onto Koros there, knocking him down to about 50% HP here. Victor, though, with the ultimate, going to get a big damage down, but a nice shockwave coming out here from Shmurda B. Finds himself one. Waffle is going to pick that up, and it's a double kill now. Looking for the triple onto Shinneman. Will find it indeed. Can he find Shin Kai as well? Arcane Shift over the wall will likely say no here, but they might just have the chase power and potential here coming from OGI. They're looking for the damage. Coral's dangerously low, but there it is, the ace and the delayed Quadra here for Waffle Wheel. Riot won't give it to him, but we will, Rude Dude, and that's going to be Baron, Buff, Push, and all 5 members of Omega Gaming Ice here alive, pushing it down the lanes, able to get themselves an advantage.
Yep, they get themselves the Baron. Looks like they wanted to get some tier 2 turrets. They got the one in the top side, and Shmurda B is going to be able to convert onto this one in the mid lane. And with those kills coming through, Shmurda B, the rest of Ice, were actually sat on awkward item components for that fight as well. They've managed to recall now, spend that Baron gold, and that's completed Rabadons, completed Runaan's Hurricane, and completed Trinity Force for Koros on this top side. The 1-4 potential for Omega Gaming Ice right now is immeasurable, with 2 completed items on your Jax, who's also, not to mention, 2 levels ahead of Shinneman, and also in a really strong position, just champion-wise, to take on anybody in the side lane. So they're going to need to send 2 people to this Jax, and while they do that, the other 4 members of Ice are incredibly strong as well, so we'll have to see if Ice can manage to break the base, and honestly, with how far ahead they are, 10,000 gold right now, with this Baron, they can end the game.
Yeah, you know, I was gonna say it, right? You've just hit this huge, massive power spike with items as you were articulating for us, right? And they're very much so in a position now where you know, any member on the map that they have available can pretty much go into these fights. I mean, you see it right there. Shockwave going to come right on out. Shinneman might have found the clone there. Not going to be able to find the damage. Yeah, I was going to make the point that you know, almost any of these Omega Gaming Ice members can pretty much just be fine by themselves in the 1v1 in the lane, but you know, maybe that's not the case here. Should have been able to get the 1v1 there with Shmurda B. Unfortunately, the damage, you know, he guessed and he guessed wrong, so he's going to find it onto the clone as opposed to the Wukong there. So that's one lane of pressure that they just will not have here. It's going to delay the effectiveness of this Baron for sure. And you know, good turtle here from the side of Ignitus. They're able to kind of keep their base alive here. They haven't lost any inhibitor turrets, so that's always a good one. And they're really just going to have to wait it out here. This is exactly kind of the position that Ignitus wants to be in. The longer that they can kind of stall this game out and deny Omega Gaming Ice opportunities to push the advantage, works well in their favor.
Yeah, it really does. It's going to be a long game for Ignitus if they want to try and come back in this. Going to have to weather this Baron Storm even more. They're going to have to somehow deal with this Jax. But they do have the tools to do so. I feel like this late game fight from Ignitus doesn't look bad. If you look at it, they do have Victor pumping out a lot of damage. He's been consistently farming incredibly well this game with, 50 CS lead in the mid lane. He's got himself near perfect CS, almost reaching that 250 mark outside 26 minutes. Peanut on this Kindred has managed to get himself the Blade of the Ruin King as well now. He's sitting on a nicely completed item, and this Ezreal Shin Kal knows that he doesn't need to go the Trinity Force damage route and is able to just build this Iceborne Gauntlet. They're going to be likely building the Death Stance as well, so he's going to be a nuisance for Koros to jump in and kill, just because of all the armor that he's going to be stacking up, all of the defensive stats that Death Stance provides as well. It's going to make it really difficult for Koros to get from one target to the other.
He really can effectively kite with the build that he's going here for, which I think is wise, considering the fact that Koros has kind of been a menace and he's been looking to find access onto that backline all game long. This is actually really, really cheeky here from the side of Ignitus. The position in which they've got their ward in is actually going to deny the Pink from being able to get themselves vision. And, well, there you see it, ladies and gentlemen, the hook landing, and Peanut's going to go down. I was going to say, they have vision in the pit. It looked really, really good there. True Shot Barrage not going to steal that dragon away. Supermarket's going to pick it up there. 3 dragons now for Omega Gaming Ice. We'll be able to put them in a pretty good position here with Soul Point.
Yeah, it really is. And, with 1 minute and a half spawning all but Schmurda.
And, yeah, Schmurda B here. Getting himself a little bit of revenge against the monkey. In the bottom lane there, able to pick himself up the kill, looking to knock down the last outer turret here. They've got all 5 members pushing this cannon into the base here. They might actually look for another turret here. If they have the wave clear, they might just rotate. But overall, once again, no objectives here to fight for just quite yet. Both these teams just kind of trying to bide it out and wait their time here. Ignitus, though, they've got to look, I think, maybe for some kind of fight in a 2v1 or a 3v1 situation, just so they can get some more gold into themselves, so they can kind of speed this up a bit, because there will become a point where OGI does complete full build, and they will be kind of unstoppable. Talking about unstoppable, there is nothing they can do to stop that mid-lane tier 3 tower from going down here. Supermarket able to get some good poke down here. But Schmurda B going to find himself with a mystic shot there, knocking out his health bar. Lambs or Spike going to come out from Peanut as he's caught out with the hook here. Koros jumping on the back line there. Waffle Wheel half into flash backwards here to avoid the rest of the damage here, but a nice piercing arrow there will find the bomb. Able to pick that one up there. They take a fight and they go 2-for-0 in favor of OGI.
Yeah, they do Banjito on this Thresh, finding pick after pick right now. Chain of Corruption went wide there from Waffle Wheel. Banjito says, I'll hit the skill shot with the thinner layer, and he absolutely destroys Peanut. Picks him up, the max range death sentence coming through, forcing the Lamb's Respite out. And if you're staying in the Lamb's Respite, it means that you've got nowhere to go when you come out, and when it does expire, he falls. And with this Baron, though, the Ice guys haven't reset yet. They are low health bars. Ignitus can do this.
Yep. Bars are low. Koros here going to get completely locked up, and a nice shockwave here from Oriana. Going to find big damage on multiple members here. True Shot Barrage will not matter. Schmurda B going to pop that Ezreal down. Shin Kal will fall. And that is going to be the Baron buff here for the side of OGI. 4 Baron buffs here. Koros, unfortunately, not going to be able to reap the benefits of that one in the split push. So it is a little bit of a detriment to the OGI 131 possibility in their composition. But I think overall, being able to pick up that buff there, getting themselves a little more gold, pushing it now to a 14k gold lead here at 30 minutes in the game. OGI has everything in their toolkit that they need right now to be able to just run it down mid and end the game.
Yeah, they do. They really are in the best position possible. If I just quickly toggle the gold, even if Ignitus here go for a 4 versus 5 that doesn't, let's say it doesn't involve the Jax who split pushing. Ice are still at a gold advantage in that 4 versus 5 just because of the deficit that Ignitus are at. It's so huge, this gold lead, that if Ice aren't able to close out with this Baron, or at least, at the very least, secure themselves an Ocean Soul that will allow them to close out the game, then there's something that needs to be checked, I feel, because the the lead that they have is so huge, and we see, look at Koros' build, acknowledging the one strong member on this side of Ignitus, being that Victor. He's the only AP source on the team, obviously little bits of magical damage coming from Ezreal, but the Spirit Visage coming through, going to be amplifying the Ocean Soul if they get it. The Chain of Corruption.
Yeah, we'll land there, followed up with a Shockwave, but not a whole lot of damage going to come through there. Braum able to give some passive armor and magic resist with the stand behind me, but another hook there. Banjito's absolutely popping off here, carrying from the support role. Ladies and gentlemen, you're seeing it. Coral's jumping on the back line, will delete the Kindred, able to find that one down, is going to get stunned up, but he will not fall here. Double kill now for Supermark as he's able to dump between the towers there and pick up that Braum. The first Nexus tower fallen now. Coral's going to jump around here trying to find this Victor, but it does not matter, ladies and gentlemen. Shmurda looking for Shinkai here. It's going to be a disengage. They may have successfully done it, but there it is. The hook coming out from Banjito. Rude dude, I just really have to hand it to this Thresh. He's been absolutely on point here. You know, you worry about it, having a substitution coming in on your team. They pad the KDAs with the ace there. Omega Gaming Eyes going to lock out game one here. And I'm telling you what, Banjito here, absolutely player of the game for me in my mind. Absolutely popped off in this game one. I mean, just multiple picks after pick after pick after pick to be able to set up these fights and get the ball rolling for OGI.
You're absolutely right. Banjito on this Thresh coming in as the substitute, making a name for himself with the OGI guys right now, and the picks that won them the game essentially were all off of the back of Banjito getting numerous picks onto Peanut, forcing out that Lamb's Respite early on, and finally, you know, that end game team fight really looks like Aethys on this Victor would be able to maybe sway Ice away from ending the game. Managed to pick up Koros, was full HP while the blinking health bars of Ice were running around his base, but Banjito came up huge, got another pick onto Aethys on this Victor, and with it managed to win themselves the game, and that is game number one, going the way of Omega Gaming Ice. Definitely a very strong performance from them. Never really looked like it was in doubt that they were going to win it, from the solo kill topside to the solo kill in the jungle as well, or the first blood with Shmurda roaming over. It was all Ice, that game number one.
Absolutely, indeed. Almost closing it out there with just short of a 20k gold lead. So by no means did OGI slouch. You know, it wasn't a slow roll. It was a stomp through and through from minute 0 all the way to minute 31. And, you know, kudos to OGI being able to pick that one up. And now it becomes a question of how does Ignitus Esports come back here for game number 2?
Yeah, we are going to have to wait and see whether or not they're able to pick up another game, or whether Ice are just going to delete them from UML as they did their opponents last week. All up for grabs right now in this best of 3 series. Obviously still another game to go, and Ice going to be on the blue side for the next one, but we're going to have to throw it to a quick break while we get all the guys ready for the pro draft. We'll be right back after this short intermission.